What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 50 of our Minecraft Survival Let's Play here on the Xbox One. So guys, today is the big world tour, and we finally decided to do one because last episode we, looked back and figured we had gotten enough done that we could start touring the world. This is actually my first ever world tour, so bear with me, but let's go ahead and get started. So the town that we are building, or the main project of this world, is actually called M-Town. And the reason it's called M-Town is because I don't light things up a lot, and monsters spawn all the time. So it was actually a viewer suggestion to name it M-Town. So we went ahead and we started building M-Town. Now, before we get to our main project, of course, we have a bunch of stuff we did beforehand. And the first thing that we did in this world was build our little starter base. Now, our starter base we built into this hillside here, and we also built this little circular window because this base was built and this world was created actually in 1.16, and for whatever reason, it seemed like everybody was building like a circle into the mountain. So I figured, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. So let's go ahead and head on inside here, because actually it's starting to get dark, so that's good timing. We do play on normal difficulty in this world. So over here, I have a little smelting station. I have a blast furnace. I normally have a smoker here, but I have villagers next door, and the one guy kept becoming a butcher. So we have, of course, all our storage here. This was actually a challenge I did early on in the series. I just wanted to see how much stuff you could get with one enchanted rod, and I just never took the sign down. It's obviously changed since then, and it's just mostly just tridents now. This is just like random storage. All this is like my coal and redstone. And then I have a pretty easy system. I have wood, I have stone, I have like trees and seeds and all that stuff. Down here was originally dirt, gravel, and sand, but it kind of became concrete too as we started using more of that. Up here is like your ores, like your emerald, your diamond, your gold, so on and so forth. Down here is your mob drops. Over here is all the stuff from the Nether. And this is just like a random junk chest of stuff that I kind of get like one or two of, and I kind of just chuck in here. You can kind of see by the random assortment. Here we have our Nether portal, and we'll actually go in there next. Over here is my little enchanting setup. Nothing too special, but it does give max level 30 enchantments. I did have a brewing stand over here, but once again, the villagers kept becoming clerics, so I had to take it down. I got a couple dragon heads here. I actually have more downstairs. And then here is our bedroom. Of course, all the lighting is hidden, if you can see by the torch, smoke coming through the floor. And here is our world map. Now, like I said, this world was created in 1.16, so all these maps here are 1.16 chunks. If we want 1.17 stuff, like the deep slate and the copper and all that, we actually have a mesa, which is like, I think 8 or 10,000 blocks, I believe, that way. And we travel through the Nether. So there's 1.17 chunks out there, which is perfect because we get, of course, the terracotta, and we get copper and deep slate and all that. Here's some of our pets: Robin the cat, Spunky the dog, which is actually a viewer suggested name, and our parrot, which still doesn't have a name. So if any of you guys out there want to suggest a name for the parrot, go right ahead. I would more than appreciate it. So let's head on into the Nether here. And there's not too much going on in here, but I'll just show you the one thing we have. All right, guys, so we are through our portal. Now, if we head up over this direction over here, and we don't hit our head on the ceiling, because I always do, but we fly on over in this direction, we actually have a Hogland Bartering Farm, and we've gotten a lot of stuff from this guy, a lot of the crying obsidian and everything, and I believe this was designed by, Oink Oink. Oh boy, Oink Oink. And basically what happens is this gold block comes back and forth like this, and you load the dispenser with gold, and every time he sees this gold block, he's like motivated to pick up a piece of gold. So that's how, you prevent it from, picking it all up. But that's just a pretty simple build, and it gets us a ton of stuff. There might actually, there's stuff still left in here that I haven't collected yet. But that's everything, they give you. So let's head back to the overworld. Alright guys, so we are back in the overworld, so let's go ahead and explore this little area here. So this is kind of like our basic farming section. And right here we actually have the world map of everything I will eventually show you from M-Town. But right here is our basic infrastructure. It was early game farms just to get stuff going. So right here we have cocoa bean farm, just a manual one. We have, this was actually our first garden we built in the world. I kind of wanted to make it look nice. And this is how it turned out. Kind of got like a collapsed wall and, some bushes. We had some sugar cane. We had a lot more carrots at one point, and, we still have wheat. Over here is just, of course, where I have nether wart. I'd grow my chorus fruit here. My 2 nether trees, of course, are right here, and a little bamboo section just to get us some bamboo. Now, over here, I have a concrete maker, and basically how it works is you take the concrete powder, you place it here, and then it pushes it across, and then once it gets all the way over here, it pushes this line out, and then you can just keep going. And you can get basically like a stack and a half in there. So it's an easy way to make concrete on Minecraft Bedrock. So heading over here, we of course have our little sweet berries, and I have them covered up so I can't like walk into them and hurt myself. Over here, we have our bee farm, and this actually needs harvested right now. But, you know, we have the campfires below it, and the bees make us honey for, of course, candles and, you know, honeycomb block and all that. Over here is a small sugarcane farm. Of course, sugarcane grows up. The observer senses it and harvests the sugarcane for us. I actually just cleaned this out, so there's not that much left. And then over here is our manual sugarcane farm. And right next to that is our subscriber forest. So anybody that subscribes to the channel and lets me know about it, because YouTube doesn't tell me that people subscribe, it just, the number just goes up. So basically, everybody here is a subscriber, and they have to comment saying, hey, I subscribed. So, you know, if you subscribe from this video or any other videos, let me know, and I'll give you your very own tree, and you'll forever be in this world. So, I mean, here's just a couple people right here. We'll just go ahead and scroll through them real quick, but that is everybody, you know, who has subscribed. So the one last thing we have to show you is this over here. And this is, of course, an iron golem farm. It still works, and it does get us most of the iron in the world. Now with the ability to fortune iron, I don't use it as much, but it's still nice to occasionally sit here and just grab iron as you need it. So guys, if we fly on back this direction over here, we of course can go, oh, I forgot about one thing. This is our automatic wool farm. It kind of got blown up a lot by creepers, hence the name M-Town. But we had 6 sheep here at one time, but now we have 3, and they get me wool, and, you know, it's an automatic farm. So heading over here is our underground section, and I'm looking at this right here, and that is our slime farm. This whole chunk is a slime chunk, but it's only a single player world, so I don't need that much slime. So I only did half the chunk, and then the other half is actually our, wrong side, is cactus farm. And we use that for either composting and making bone meal, or we use it for experience. We recently just switched it to composting, but the majority of the world, or the majority of the time, has actually been for experience. So guys, let's take a look at our underground section here. So over here we have our automatic storage system. It's not that big, but it's a lot of blocks that I have a lot of. So I just made like a bulk storage. So like, you know, stone, you get a ton of that. Cobblestone, you know, we have more. We have an overflow over there. This over here is called Project Alphabet. And the goal is to get a stack of every object in the game. And, I mean, every object that's reasonably attainable, I guess I should say. So, like, here's letter A. So here's all the items that start with letter A, and that one there is air. So, as you can see, we have a stack of, like, every single one. And then you come down here, like, we need to finish getting beacons, you know, beehives. Bee nests we're probably not going to be able to get because I don't want to explore too many chunks and make this world way too big because it is on Xbox One right now, so we're kind of limited. And then, of course, we have, like, I did this in between episodes, so for those of you who have been subscribed, I went ahead and I completed iron except for the trapdoors, and then I started this box here, and I started this box here. So if we come over here, we have our super smelter. So basically, you put the fuel in here and the items in here, and then it just smelts it and pops out down here. Next to that, we have our pumpkin and melon farm, and do I have scaffolding on me? I don't, but I do have this, so we'll use this. So if you look in here, you can see all our pumpkins and melons growing, and then they get harvested automatically when the observer senses it, and they get dropped off down in these chests here. So, pretty useful farm. I use this for trading mostly. And then, like I said, this was our slime farm that we looked down on, and evidently I got some gunpowder too, but pretty productive, and I have almost a full double chest of slime blocks, so I'm not really super concerned. This here is our Basalt Farm. So basically, I mean, it's kind of slow to start off with, but then this machine gets rolling, and then you kind of start going like this, and it starts going faster and faster and faster. So, quick and easy way to get basalt. Pretty cool. Over here is our lava farm. It's just dripstone with lava above it, but for super smelter, it makes it super easy. This is our cactus farm, which you guys saw from upstairs, and I pulled the bone meal out recently. And then when we were using this for experience, I had it tied to this bamboo farm, so, you know, we always had fuel. So guys, if we head back upstairs, I have just a couple more things to show you on the main part of the world, and then we'll go up to our big project. So the next thing I have to show you guys is actually another set of gardens. So if we come over here and go past all of these farms out here, we have a giant section of manual farms. So each one of these plots has about 100 plants. So, I mean, you do get a pretty massive harvest from all this. And then the pumpkin and melons tend to get stamped down by animals. So that's why I have the carpet and then the, of course, slabs to try and prevent spawning. And it works for the most part now. So over here is our Sugarcane Farm with a flying machine. So Silent Whisperer actually just put out a flying machine. So I went ahead and I used that flying machine design, and then I just used it to harvest sugarcane. An Enderman actually just recently took out one of the blocks, so it kind of ruined this rail here. So this minecart's about to go off the rail. Over here was a project we tried to do during an episode, but it failed miserably. And this was supposed to be like a coral farm, but for some reason, I can only go coral on like 3 out of the 7 blocks, so it's kind of odd. And then this giant machine over here is actually another machine by Silent Whisperer, and it is actually a moss farm, and it's self-sustaining. So basically, if you guys saw last episode, I explained this, but basically what happens is moss blocks grow up there, they get harvested, drop down to these composters, and make bone meal. Now, after 1 hour of using the farm, this is about how much bone meal we got, and that was taking a bunch out. And it's also self-sustaining because these 4 composters here feed into this dropper chain and actually go into this dispenser here that makes the moss block grow. So, and the cool thing is I can actually convert it back over to a regular moss farm, and we can get all the moss carpet and azalea trees and all that. So guys, let's head up top and let's start with our, main project in our main town, M-Town. So guys, this here was our first project in M-Town, and this was actually the local school's football field. And this is a 100-yard field, quote unquote, but it is built at a 60% scale. So everything is actually within an NFL stadium size for a high school field, I know. But it's within 60%. So 2/3 or basically 2/3 of an actual football field. And this took us probably about 4 or 5 episodes. We had the bandstands down here with our dog that we always forget about, Jerry, which once again was another subscriber named animal. And then over here, we have M-Town with our colors red and blue, and they're facing off against another team over here. We have the sidelines, of course, with the Gatorade coolers and the water coolers and all that good stuff. We have the big lights, of course, to light the football field. And then we have the stands for the, all the fans. So this is like the away side. And this is like the home side over here with the press box. If I can fly on up there real quick. So the press box, you get a pretty good view of the field. And of course, there's a giant M in the back. And, you can just sit here and announce the game if you want to. So if we leave this press box here and actually look at these trees over here, this is actually what we accomplished last episode before we did this video. And basically what we're trying to do is make like a giant spruce forest, all pine trees and stuff like that surrounding the stadium, because on the back side of this is going to be a massive river that we're going to start. So that'll be our next huge project in this world, and that'll take probably quite a few episodes. So if we come over this way, we have, if I get down, whoa, 2 masts. So if we come over this way, of course, we have, our concession stand area where we can come and get our snacks during the game. And then we have a giant picnic area over here where we can eat. Let's actually go inside the concession stand real quick. So if we, just a regular door. So if we come in here, this is kind of like a big garage door. So whenever, food gets dropped off for the game, they can just back the truck right up and they're here. Got a big table for all the food to be prepared on. Got a freezer, which I'm actually going to make a door water elevator up so we can actually get up here easier. and then have some chests and stuff like that for everybody to use. And, still got to add a little more finer details. Of course, here is the massive oven to bake all the food for, the hungry game watchers. So continuing out of the concession stand, we actually come over to the restroom area. And the restrooms are male and woman, so, and there is a water fountain in case you want some water. So this is a women's room. Of course, we put toilets in all of them. And, we did lighting, just basic, overhead lighting. It's nothing too fancy there. And then we come over here to the men's side and more of the same. And we have the sinks. So that takes care of the bathrooms. We do have to add some landscaping in here and, of course, on the other side. So we walk out of here. Here's, of course, our security guard. We go in here and we have our ticket booth. So you walk in here and that's how you get your ticket to the game. And then you walk out here and this is the parking lot for the stadium. I thought it was lit up pretty well, but as you can tell by, the creeper chasing me currently, it is not. Yeah. So over here, we put in a little road and a little bit of landscaping, and this is where like the food delivery truck would back down and he would be able to actually deliver the food. Now, this truck right here is actually my first attempt at a vehicle ever in Minecraft. So, take it easy on me, but I think it turned out pretty well. And, there's a door that would slide open in the back. And then right here is, of course, a dumpster, because after they go ahead and sell all that food, for the night, they're going to have stuff they need to throw away, so they go ahead and toss it in there. So if we come this way, back towards the parking lot, this is actually a project that we recently completed right here. And this is actually a cave. Now, where I'm from, there's actually a cave in the area that's local, and it's actually like 10,000 years old. They found people living there. So I figured we'd recreate that in this world. And it could share the parking lot with the school, because when school's not in, the cave can just use the parking lot. So, of course, we did some decoration out here using the new dripstone and put a nice little waterfall in and the new azalea tree. So if you come on up here, we have, of course, the entrance to the cave. Now, I tried to make it so it was like how the cave would be set to like do tours. So obviously they'd have like, a campfire lit or something like that, because that would be how they cook. But if this was really a cave we just found, it wouldn't be. But we got some glowberries, we got some dripstone growing down, some of the new roots hanging out, and then some vines to add some age. And then over here is like the latrine, where they'd like, go to the bathroom or throw animals, that they butchered away. And then, of course, like I said, they'd cook right here. And yeah, this was somebody's home 10,000 years ago. All right, guys, I went ahead and slept to get rid of all the mobs that are spawning around here. So if we come to the other side of the parking lot here, we have some of our newer additions to M-Town. So over here, we have a bank. And this was a real-life bank that I took a picture of and built. So this is exactly how the bank looks in real life. So it's actually attached to like a mall, hence like these things here. But I just use that area for the tellers, so it works out. So we come inside of the bank here. Of course, we got, a little bit of greenery in here, because that's what banks are like. We have candles, but on Xbox and Bedrock Edition, for some reason, they don't like to stay lit if you're not looking at them. We have a little corner office here, where you go to get your loans and all that. We come through this little gate here, and of course, this is where all the teller stuff is. So like all their tables and where they put stuff, and then we have like a little bit of storage. Now, the cool thing about this bank and a lot of the buildings that I plan on building is they're all going to serve kind of a functional purpose. So a bank holds money, right? So if we walk in here, we see an Enderman, and then we also see all of my money. So we have gold. This will be diamonds, but Project Alphabet's currently eating those up, and netherite ingots or netherite blocks, and then we have our emerald and all that. So here's the overflow of everything. And here's all the copper that I've gotten in the world. Haven't used too much copper, but, we will probably eventually someday. So if we walk on out of the bank here, guys, we actually come across to the next city block. And this block is going to be an actual full-size city block. So what we're going to do is actually put an apartment building down here and then fit a building into here. But for the time being, we currently have ourselves an ice cream shop, which I have yet to finish the actual interior in. Right now, it's kind of just plain, but We have some tables where people can sit and eat their ice cream. Then we got a nice little corner table. And then, of course, here's where the workers are. And then we have like even a walk-up window. Because I figure, hey, you know, after a football game or something, people might want to walk through the town. And, hey, you can stop and get ice cream, right? So if we head outside and come around the corner here, we actually walk upstairs. And I figured this would be an apartment of like the guy who owned the ice cream shop. So, you know, he got a nice little like big screen TV with some nice speakers, little desk. This is like, you know, copper. I said we didn't use much of it, but we actually did use some in this build. And then you walk over here and you got, you know, your double bed. You know, you got a nice little chair to sit in, and then he can sit here and kind of watch the football game and, you know, people and so on and so forth, kind of look out the window. And then if we walk around the other side over here, this was actually another fairly recent project, and we still have yet to put the lettering on this one, but this is actually a media play. So once again, this was another store that I found a picture of, and I went ahead and recreated the store as best as I could in Minecraft. And then you walk in here, of course, you have your teller stands with your conveyor belt and all that. You have another one over there. And then over here, you have your like returns, customer service, you know, whatever it may be. You have your speakers, your jukeboxes for sale over here. And then in here is actually where we sell all the records that we get in the game. So as you can see, like we have Cat, and we have 5 of them. And then back over here, this is like the poster section. So if you want to buy a poster, here you go. And then over here is like the clothing section where you can get all your band shirts and all that stuff. So if we walk on out of the media play here and actually look down over here. Yeah, right there. So as you can see right now, that's currently freaking out for some reason. But we have that's where we got our records from. So basically, normally I have a skeleton in the boat with a name tag, but I had 2 go in there and they killed each other. And then I lure a creeper into this section right here, and we get a record. So that takes care of the actual town part, but up on top over here, we actually have like our working section, our factory industrial section. So if you come up this big hill here from M-Town, you of course come to the Sunoco Gas Station, which we actually just finished once again a couple episodes ago. You got your gas pumps outside, and then you got your little trash cans. This is supposed to be like a propane tank where you can refill your propane. I didn't actually finish it yet. You got your garbage can out here in case you need to throw something away from your car. And then here's like your ice box. So if you come inside here, we of course have, you know, like your counter, and then there's your shelves behind the counter. Some of these will be selling stuff. We got to put it in there. Just a little table. You know, sometimes people get a cup of coffee, which we have over here. You know, we got your milk, your cream, and your sugar. And then we got like your drink selection back here. And then towards this end is like the overstock room, or, you know, where they keep everything for the store. So if we come on out of the Sunoco and look directly across the road, we see a ton of spruce trees. Now, we put those in because I use spruce in a lot of builds, and I figure that, you know, we may as well give it like a story as to, you know, where do these people get all their spruce from? So that right there is basically a giant tree farm. If you guys have ever seen like an actual tree farm, that's basically what it is. They just grow a bunch of trees in a line, and then they come in with a machine and cut them all down. And then these little trees here, I figure, are like Christmas trees. So, you know, they can also sell Christmas trees because this is also a nursery. And we went ahead and put that sign in right there. This is the driveway, but because of all the snow, you can't really see it. So we have some azalea trees that are, of course, you know, the new tree. We have a whole bunch of potted plants, saplings, all the good stuff in here. And then in this greenhouse over here, we actually have, you know, flowers and cactus and all that. And then in between these, we actually have the 2 high plants, and they're actually like ready to go. They're already potted up for you. And then over here is like the employee like shed where you go buy everything, and, you know, you come in here and they ring your order up. And then we got to add a couple more details, but for the most part, that's, you know, done. Back here is where they sell their like bulk stuff. So you have your podzol, your dirt, your path blocks. Maybe you need rock for your driveway, or you need firewood. So firewood can actually be bought right there. So this next build right here is actually a giant barn. And once again, this is another picture that I took off the line and rebuilt it. So I did add these trees in here for design. So there is a couple things we do have to finish. Like I have to finish this awning on the other side. But for the most part, this is it. And then this is like our log cutting factory. So when the log trucks come in, you can unload it right here. And then they drop them right onto these conveyor belts, which I don't know if I can actually get up there. I can't. But as you can see, there's saw blades down there and down there. And then that just cuts up the logs. Over here, we have like the employee lockers. And over here is kind of like where they make like, you know, maybe they carve the wood into something or cut it down into smaller boards. So that basically takes care of this barn and factory. So that leaves us with one build left in the world, and that is actually that building right there. Now, this building right here is actually based off of a factory that is in Milwaukee, I believe. This is the basic building. The front I added on just to make it look a little bit more ominous. So over here we have the employee parking. And this factory actually makes bricks because for our next project in the world, we actually need bricks. So I figured why not build a brick factory? So you have your wood and your clay, and that's, you know, how you smut your bricks, obviously. Have our garage doors so trucks can pull in there or we can load stuff in there. So when you walk into the factory, you come into like a waiting room, you know, because they don't want you to go straight up there because it could be dangerous. So you walk over here, and here's our factory. So here's our giant kiln. And of course, you come in here, place your bricks, close the giant copper door, and you let them cook. There's not too much around here aside from that. This is kind of like the overseer's office, and this is like the one villager that survived out of all of them that I had up here. Now, originally, like I said, all these buildings were going to serve a purpose, and this was originally my trading hall for the Mason villagers, and we had 9 of them in here, and then we had the cleric in there as like the overseer. I had iron golems in here, but somehow zombies or something spawned in here, and they killed them all. So it's basically just a factory now at this point. And then over here we have like a little system to bring all the materials up. So yeah, that's basically, you know, the world. I do have 2 more farms I would like to show you guys, and they are actually quite a ways away. So I'm going to have to fly on out there. Alright guys, so after a quick 800 block fly over here, we have come to our gold farm. So this being Bedrock Edition, gold farms are, or were, I don't know if they changed, different than, of course, Java Edition. So this farm works by lava here, igniting the portal, and then this water here, like, goes in and out and breaks the portal, which causes zombie pigmen to spawn. And then, of course, they fall down into a trident killer right here. And down here is where we collect all their goods, like this is nuggets, gold ingots, and rotten flesh. And then I smelt all the swords and everything like that and get more ingots. So we have one more farm left to show you guys, and that is, of course, our Guardian Farm. Alright guys, so welcome to our Guardian Farm. And it's only like 2,000 blocks away from everything else, so, you know, a pretty decent fly. So Bedrock Guardian farms work a little different than Java farms, and we kind of have it easy. So basically, at the Bedrock Edition, Guardians only spawn at certain points in an ocean temple. So if you block those points off, and then activate these 4 points with a bubble column, then you just bring the Guardians up top, and once we climb up here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Climb on up here. So Guardians go up in there, and then get funneled down into here. And we use our trident killer, and we just stand here with a looting 3 sword and collect all of the drops. So pretty cool farm. It's not as efficient as a Java farm because using a guardian killer, like they do kind of like jump up above it. But once you get enough in here, they start pushing each other down into it. And then, of course, we have our chest with all of our drops in it. So pretty handy farm. And it's actually pretty simple to build on Bedrock Edition. Alright guys, so we are back in our base, and I figure we'll end this video off by showing you the mine, because everybody always likes to see the mine where you got everything. So here is our current mine with all of our branch tunnels, and of course we have slime chunks here. Now, we did have one last project in the world, and this project is called Minecraft from the beginning to the end. And that's because this tunnel here actually takes us all the way to our end portal. So the idea here was to make a tunnel going through time in Minecraft, right? So as you can see right here in the beginning, it's all basic blocks that we're using. It's a stone floor, oak wood, you know, oak planks, and cobblestone walls, and then stone brick. All stuff you can get fairly early on. Redstone lamps, I mean, you can kind of get them fairly early, and same with lanterns. So after you spawn into your world and you've been playing it for a while, of course, you head into the Nether. So here we are heading into the Nether right here. And just like where we spawn in our Nether, it is a warp forest. So we have the warp stem, we have the Nether brick lining the side, and then we have the, the Nether, or not the Nether wart, the whatever it is, the green block on the side with the shroom lights. And then we have the planks, of course, and the soul lanterns on top. So the next biome we actually discovered after the warp forest was a crimson forest. So once again, it's the same kind of design, except they use blackstone on the side to kind of go with the red. And then we have, of course, the crimson stem and the crimson wood with soul lanterns. And then we have the nether wart block with the nether, or the mushroom light block. So coming down through this tunnel here. Now, of course, this world was created in 1.16. So I kind of made it so as you come out of, the old 1.16 Nether update, you come into the 1.17 update. So as you can see, we're using the deep slate here, and we have the candles. And then, of course, I use the oak wood because the azalea tree is oak. I didn't really have much of a choice. And then we'll do the lanterns hanging down the center again. And then the tunnel will continue, but this is all the further we've gotten in our world. So I hope you guys enjoyed this world tour. Like I said, it was my first one. Let me know what you guys think of it. But with that being said, guys, as always, if you like this episode, leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, make sure you subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.